Hi there. Welcome to an interview with the President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali. I am Fariza Hanif. Mr. President, thank you for sitting with me.
Thank you, Fariza. Always good to be with you.
Yes, it is nice to see you after your very long trip. Mr. President, I wanted to talk about Parliament today. We see Parliament is going to reconvene, and this is the first time we're going to have a sitting after your government was sworn in. What are your expectations as we see a new batch of parliamentarians?
Well, you know, parliamentary life and the Parliament itself is an important part of our governance structure. It is also an important representation of a democratic society. So Parliament, for me, plays that integral role in any democratic society. It's where policies are tested. It is where debate on national development takes place. It is where the representation of the people is given full meaning. So I want to congratulate all the parliamentarians. I want to congratulate the new sitting to say that I welcome this new sitting. I wish them well. I wish the Parliament every success. I wish to see robust debate that is based on facts, debate that enriches what we do in Guyana, enriches our democracy. And of course, at some point I will be addressing the Parliament officially. You know, the next 5 years are enormous years ahead of us. It will be very transformative. It will be very aggressive, massive infrastructure, but infrastructure leading to growth and expansion of our economy, infrastructure leading to the opening up of new opportunities, new lands, expanded social program, and of course, defining a path in the next 5 years that would lead to resilient and sustainable development. So you will see the government outlining. We have already demonstrated and outlined clearly what we want to achieve in the next 5 years in our manifesto. What you will see is the action plan, the actionable agenda, the framework that will be presented and of course debated on how we're going to achieve these targets. What are the programs and the policies we're going to pursue to increase disposable income, empower people, build prosperity, expand housing, improve water supply, give world-class healthcare and education services, create new employment, generate new industries, expand the economy, diversify our economic platform, build financial capability, deal with issues of migration, ensure that we have a secure country, internal security and the security of our borders. All of these things will be driven, of course, by our drive to create a country that is competitive, one that is moving ahead on a technological footing, because digitization, AI, and all of these things are important in building this new country, this country that we want to play an integral part in regional development and global development. We want to position our country as an ecotourism hub, leading on food, energy, climate. So the next 5 years, I see the parliamentary agenda being driven by policies and programs that are creative, innovative, visionary, and a government that is pursuing a development path that is bold, that is aggressive, and that would lead to national wealth creation and prosperity.
So definitely a parliament that will be more robust and aggressive in tackling these policies and spirit.
Definitely you will see a government that will be very aggressive and proactive.
Correct. Mr. President, I also want to ask you about the critics who accuse your administration of delaying Parliament, so pending the extradition of Azzuddin Mohammed, the leader of WIN.
You know, sometimes it's a very important question, because it is a question and it is tactics used now to generate sympathy, to generate victim syndrome for Azzuddin Mohammed. But let us examine this issue in a dispassionate way and look at some of the very critics. You know, this issue did not start yesterday. It started long before even the OFAC sanctions. When we came into office, the very media sometimes now that are critical, the very media pursued relentlessly this issue because there were reports in the local and international media about the Mohammeds being involved in gold smuggling, money laundering, and other criminal activities. At that time, the media pursued me relentlessly about what action the government will take in relation to this. And I said then that, listen, we have no official report about this. We have read the same articles, and when the reports or evidence is provided to us, we will have to act, and we will act. But we can't act on nothing we had at that time. Mm-hmm. I made this very clear. And we were criticized for not acting then. Fast forward, the OFAC sanctions came. When the OFAC sanctions came, what we saw when the OFAC sanctions came? When the OFAC sanctions came, we saw that the Americans laid out a clear case. And they said that these persons are sanctioned, Mr. Mohammed, Nazar Mohammed and Azruddin Mohammed, and their related companies are sanctioned by the United States government. Immediately upon receiving the sanction, what did the government do? Again, the media came to us and said, now that these people are sanctioned, what action the government will take? The government said then that we had immediately requests from the United States the information that led to the sanctions so that we can take the necessary legal and administrative steps and action. The United States government worked with the government of Guyana, provided the basis on which the sanctions were made, and what did the government do? The government took all the legal and administrative steps and measures that is necessitated by the sanction. That is necessitated by the sanction. And as a result, some licenses were cancelled, revoked, and of course, investigation, an international investigation was ongoing. An international investigation on gold smuggling, money laundering, and other criminal activities. Fast forward. Again, let me go back. Again, at that time, the very media pursued this issue. And we made it clear that we are going to work closely with our international partners to ensure that whatever legal and administrative steps must be taken will be taken. Nothing political. Nothing political. A straightforward case that is being laid out. Subsequently, what we saw? We saw that Mr. Azruddin entered the political fray and then suddenly used this as a scenario where he is being discriminated against by the government, by the People's Progressive Party government. He is being discriminated by the People's Progressive Party civil government, that he is being politically prosecuted, which is a total lie. I've just outlined. This started long before we came into office. This investigation started long before we came into office.
And your government followed all the steps.
And we followed all the steps. We came, we met this investigation, we cooperated, and now the final step, here we are, where the United States government had, let's go back, a court in the United States had indictments now against the Mohammeds. 11 indictment. Now, an indictment is not arrived at in a simple way. For you to have 11 indictment, the court had to be convinced that a clear case has been laid out, that there is clear evidence leading to the indictment, and they went further. The strength of the indictment, which lies on gold smuggling, money laundering, and other criminal activity, then advanced a case for extradition. The extradition request was made in accordance with the legal and administrative mechanism. That request, like many other requests before, has been processed by the government of Guyana after examining the evidence and being convinced that there is a clear case. Now, that extradition request has been made, and that extradition request is being processed. This has nothing to do with the victim syndrome or claiming political prosecution. This is a clear investigation that started long before 2020, an investigation that has followed legal and administrative mechanism, an investigation that is cross-jurisdiction, an investigation that is international in nature. This is not an investigation that originated from here. This is an investigation that is international in nature. So this your notion that the parliament was delayed for an extradition is totally, disconnected from the truth. And it is a notion that is created for a specific intention and a specific purpose. Now, constitutionally, I had up to this point to reconvene the parliament. And I said from day one that I will act in accordance with the Constitution. And I will always act in accordance with the Constitution. And that led me to this date. So this has nothing to do with the fact that a clear case of money laundering, gold smuggling, and other criminality has been made out against Mr. Azruddin Mohammed, and that process is ongoing. And that process started long before 2020. In 2020, when we came in, we had no documentation. And we were accused
of withholding information.
Of withholding information. I said then when we were accused that once we have the relevant information, then we'll be able to act. So, it's just the misconception and the misinformation. And, we live in a world where misinformation and disinformation is becoming the norm. And our population and the world itself, they call it now the pandemic of misinformation and the pandemic of disinformation. That's now a global term. And some of this disinformation and misinformation is designed for a specific purpose, Now, I want to make it very clear. We have evidence, the government of Ghana. The U.S. has shared evidence where the country, Ghana, was robbed of taxes. And the GRA is pursuing that matter. We have evidence where an undervalued invoice was submitted for a vehicle. That evidence has been submitted to the GRA, and the GRA is pursuing that matter. Everything in accordance with law and the administrative mechanism. Has nothing to do with political prosecution, has nothing to do with going after anyone. That is a misinformation. That is what Azruddin Mohammed wants to create. He wants to create this victim syndrome around himself.
One of the narratives, too, is that it is the PPP government that is doing this investigation, conducting this investigation.
Which is totally false. I just outlined to you that this started long before 2020.
Yes.
And I outlined to you the entire process that we have gone through. Has nothing to do with the People's Progressive Party civic government. The investigation started long before us, but the People's Progressive Party civic government is a responsible government working with our international partners. And we have a duty and responsibility to the people of this country, to our international partners, to work with them in pursuing issues of criminality.
Definitely, and the law needs to take its course. Mr. President, finally from me, we see that it's customary for you to address the opening of a new parliament. That will not happen today. How soon can we see that happening?
Oh, well, I can assure you that I will be addressing Parliament. And again, I wanted the Parliament to have its day today. to have the MPs sworn in, and then subsequently at some point to have all of their administrative issues completed, which includes the election of an opposition leader and so on. And after all of that is completed, I definitely will be addressing Parliament in a substantive way, outlining the vision, outlining the strategy, and outlining where we want to position Guyana, for all of Guyana, by 2030, building a strong, resilient, sustainable country. That is what we want to pursue.
Mr. President, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today.
Always a pleasure, Faris, and thank you very much. I want to thank you and all of the media personnel. I did not have a chance to do this, who would have covered the last elections and even elections before that, for the level of professionalism that all of you demonstrated, which of course contributed to the smooth running of the elections, and of course to our democratic society. So I want to thank you and all the other responsible media personalities and media houses who worked tremendously hard on this. Thank you very much. God bless all of you. God bless the new Parliament. I wish the new Parliament every success. God bless all those who will be representing our people, and I wish the Parliament a healthy 5 years. Thank you.